Welcome to 108 Gate, where we are looking for some inspiration, some questions, some points to ponder, and hopefully some answers along the way, which often lead to lots more questions. Anyway, it is what it is. Today's energies, whenever you come to the reading, and also it is a word focus, so empowerment of words, looking at words to empower self, how to best approach them. So just take a moment, recycle, what is it bringing up? Have a few seconds. So the process of recycling is supposed to be around returning to a previous stage of a cycle, or converting something into a reusable material. So there's the obvious 3D versions of recycle, and what is it bringing up for you? Recycle. Usually it's a 3D stuff. Now, when I was looking at the word and the energies of the word in context of a reading today, it was coming up with things like the wounded healer. So how we recycle past experiences, past emotions, past connections to things, and then bring it up to heal a wound. Now, the thing to remember about the wounded healer, possibly, is also how we have healed a wound, and then the wounded healer's intentions being to be healed, but sometimes, depending on the astrological configuration and patterns we've got ourselves into that we might not consciously be aware of, it can actually sometimes repeat and loop into wounding the same healed wound to keep that wounded healer healing. Instead of actually healing the wound, let go of the wound, now it's healed. Sometimes there are patterns that you might identify that go back to wounding the self again, going for that back to the like glutton for punishment kind of feel. And like, you've healed that, why do it again? Coming up again, well, you've just done that, so why is it coming up again? Because you've wounded it again. You've just healed it again, why is it coming up again? Because you've wounded it again. Looking at all the intricacies of how deeply we have to actually heal something so that it doesn't come back as a healed wound, wounded again. That's where the recycle is coming up. Now, the benefit of that being that if you identify these patterns, if you identify that and accept that as an actual concept to be utilised, I'm not saying that you're not, it's just bringing more conscious awareness to what does that mean, how does it play out in certain scenarios, how does it play out in struggling with certain things, how does it play out in your finances, how does it play out in relationships, how does it play out in going through the same stuff again and again and again and feeling like you're not getting anywhere. Even though you're making progress, you end up back again because of a wound that's healed, now being wounded again. Are you keeping hold of the emotional turmoil? Are you subconsciously holding it in your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind, or your cellular memory even? Hence the deep energy work. Right. Focus on all parts to make the whole. Focus on all parts to make the whole. You've got to heal. You've got to heal all of it. You can't just heal the surface aspects of it. Take the hand offered or ask. Receive the support. Now, again, do you receive support from someone who you know is going to hit you? I don't mean physically. And if that's happening physically, that's a whole different scenario. But emotionally, it doesn't make it any better. Hurt you physically, hurt you emotionally, hurt you financially, hurt you in a way that stops you from progressing, stops you from making the most of your own potential, stops you from being your own higher potential. Where is that recycling of wounds, that recycling of painful experience, painful material, not actually being put to good use to evolve self? So it's like somebody taking something that's essentially rubbish and just creating more rubbish, or just adding to another pile of rubbish. How useful is that? Devotion, be true and pure in thought and deed. You've got to be bringing in some actual conscious choices of supporting self in a way that allows you to release those cycles, recycle the pain, recycle the wound, recycle things, and then use it as a catalyst, as a catapult out of that into a healed, cleansed, purified state. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because it was quite an interesting word to come up. And then to explore it the way it came up, it was a nice way of being conscious of what we're doing. Are we actually recycling to make something better, or are we just creating more useless stuff? King of Serpents, Two of Serpents. Ooh, Eight of Wands. Beautiful. Let's get the other cards too. Let's move it up so you can actually see it. Flying out there we have... Wow. Okay, interesting. Nine of Wands, upside down. Knight of Wands, upright. Five of Coins. Wow. So, with the notion of recycle in mind, recycling what? With the intention of what? Keeping self in self-sabotage. Are you able to identify when you're sabotaging yourself? Are you able to identify when others are sabotaging you and you're allowing them to sabotage you? Are you able to identify sabotage? Recycle. Utilise that to empower yourself. Recycle this experience that's not been in your favour to be something that completely works in your favour, empowers you, and powers you up. White Carnation, devotion, be true and pure in thought and deed. Some motion in the feminine area, wanting to come forward, communicating with yourself in a different way, communicating with others in a different way. And this is therefore going to stop the, it feels like the energy is that it's going to stop the masculine energy to kind of try to comprehend what the feminine is actually trying to communicate. This is within yourself. Have you had those moments of like you can feel something's right there but you can't quite fully understand it? It's the way in which you speak to yourself, communicate with yourself. So if you communicate with yourself in a softer, loving, patient tone that you would a child, or you would someone else who's learning something. So it's like how to be a good teacher. Be a good teacher to yourself. You need to be patient. You may need to repeat things over and over again. You may need to repeat things from a different perspective to be able to make sure that the point is getting across, the concept is being explored fully. So in the masculine space within self, this does feel very internal. The masculine space within self is feeling some conflict because it's not fully grasping what is actually being brought up. So that the recycle may be that because the understanding is not clear, therefore the message is not clear, it's not coming in correctly, therefore it's going back into a loop to understand it. Instead, take a moment, slow right down, to look at what's coming up and explore it, so that this then conflict is managed, it's being navigated appropriately, and with that gentle tone that can be continued, and then go into a higher consciousness of communicating with self, a higher version of communication style with self, a better communication style with self, so that you're empowering yourself. Then health, focus on all parts to make the whole, bringing that into then other aspects of self, so that you know what you've got to juggle, you know what you've got to keep balanced, how to balance it appropriately with self. If someone's coming in and infringing on that balance, how do you deal with it? Do you get stressed and just stay quiet, stay stumm, and then you just kind of like deal with the stress internally, holding the stress internally? Or do you actually verbalize, like, I can't do this, I can do that, but I can't do this. This is your issue, this is your thing, this is where you need to step in and help. Then you're going to have more power behind yourself, more power from within yourself to move forward. Then cooperation, take the hand offered or ask. Wow. Right, off the horse. Let's take a look around. That's a lot of power there. King of coins, king of serpents. So the wealth that's available right now, it feels like it's out of reach, it's out of the way from you. It's like you don't know where to access it from or how to access it. If you know where it is, it's like it's behind a glass case or something like that. That you go into a museum, you know that a lot of things behind those glass windows, in those glass cases, are worth priceless amounts of money. To some priceless, to some they're not priceless. Either or, it's the value of things. You're seeing the value of things. You know the higher values of things. You have been offered higher valued things before, but you weren't able to access it. You weren't able to take it. You weren't able to receive it because you weren't in that space of understanding how, why, what, or even your worth. If you weren't communicating with yourself in a way that was respectful or knowing that you're worthy of something, how are you going to receive it? Therefore, it's kind of like, you know what, I can't do it because you haven't got the capacity to actually deal with it. You haven't got the capacity to actually manage it. Now, with the capacity to manage it, you're going to be in a better position to let that go and understand, right, I can receive it now. I'm not feeling like it's out. I'm everywhere. I'm feeling left out. I'm feeling that it's out of touch. I'm leaving that, letting it go. And I'm here to receive. Yes, I'm here to receive. Yes, I'm here to receive. Then, let's get another masculine card there. Exactly. Then, kaboom! You go forward. You make the correct moves forward. You do the correct actions to move forward. This is motion. Like you want it to be. I would like it to be. I hope that it got something for you, even just a nugget to ponder about, even just some kind of inspiration. Listen to it again. Feel the equation of the movements. Feel what has to happen in different spots. If it works for you, fantastic. If you'd like to join us for more readings like this, please do subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notification of when the next one is uploaded. For now, peace and love.